Oh, hey everyone. Oh my God, it's Thursday. Hey, good morning to all you guys. Listen, it's Algo Factory Tech. It's the gorilla, it's the cowboy, and we're here live, giving you guys a little sneak peek into what it is that we do every day on Algo Factory, where we not only teach you how to trade, but we teach you how to build the algorithms that trade on your behalf. Now, flash that QR code, scan it, join us. $49.99 a month. It's cheap. It breaks down to $1.66 per day. $1.66 per day, folks. That's all it's going to cost you for you to be with the very best in technicals, in charting, and in fundamentals. That's us right here on Algo Factory Tech. That being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.
Awesome. You're on that crappy wireless headphones, aren't you?
That's right. That's
Yeah, I
right.
can
Don't you
hear it.
love it? Okay, fine.
Yeah, no, it's all right though. They always have they're just always crackly. Can always tell.
Hi.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. What's that?
Hello, Mike check.
Oh, Mike check. How about John check?
Hey, where's the background music, man?
Here we go. Yeah, I got a little bit of I got real into gathering some data, and so I kind of didn't we were a couple minutes late on the show because I was watching some data. We'll talk about exactly what I was watching too. But there's your music, bud. There you go. So I had a trade. Unfortunately, uncommon for this week. I had a trade stop out last night. I put it on and I went to sleep, and unfortunately, it just went against me. And this does happen. Not everybody wins all their trades, but our record this week is really good. I think I've won, I don't know, 3 or 4 at least, and most of those have been shared with the group. So that's everybody got to see the trade as I entered, or at least the framework for entry prior to entry. So look, here's the thing about Algo Factory: like, we're not a signal room per se. We actually teach people. We're not handing out fish. We're teaching people to fish, right? It's a very common thing to say, but I really like that, even though it's a bit cliche to say at this point. But it's what we do. We want you to, and there are many reasons for this, but we want you to have your own method for trading. We don't want you to rely on some guru or trust my system and be rich. Those types of things, in my experience and in many other experience, tend not to work out. Okay. Having your own system is really what's going to make you independent. You have to pay someone else. However, I do put my trades up, so it might be that perhaps you see what I'm doing and you have your own research that kind of matches that, and you might even take a trade that looks very similar to mine. And those who did that this week made money. So we're actually probably going to talk about that more on the Rogue Show rather than this show. I did want to share the screen though. We just had the unemployment numbers come out. I'm going to talk about what I was doing and why we were just a couple minutes late today. So I'm not trying to be punctual, so apologies to those who were sitting and waiting, including V. V hits me up at like 6:30. Where's the link, bro? Like, oh shit. I was so keyed in onto looking at this chart that you're looking at right now. This is the Aussie, and there was a lot of momentum downward, a high time frame move down, and it actually had broken the floor, and so I thought it would continue down. Unfortunately, it went back up on me and stopped me out. These things do happen. But the unemployment numbers just came out, right? So it's a weekly number for the US, and that's the Aussie dollar that you were looking at on the chart. So obviously the dollar is involved, and the US data is going to affect that. Unemployment claims were as expected. So what that usually is going to mean when some numbers come out more or less as forecast, 221,000 being the expected number, 220 being the actual number, very, very, pretty much right on. Now, let's avoid the trap of saying these numbers are fake. And I mean, sure, okay, they're fake, but the reality is that they are going to affect markets. They're going to affect what the markets do, how we trade, things like that. So, whether or not they're real is not exactly relevant when it comes to technical trading. Okay, so understand that, right? It's about making money. It's not about knowing the truth in a way. We can know the truth, you can benefit from the truth, but in reality, we are pragmatic. So just because numbers are fudged and we know they're fudged, it doesn't mean we're going to avoid making money, right? everything's a lie. Just kidding. It's not all a lie, but the best lies are mixed with the truth, right? So without getting philosophical, what I was watching was what was going to happen to the charts as the unemployment data came out. And if we drill down to the minute here, there were market forces that wanted price to head down. And as a matter of fact, this really turned into what's called the head and shoulders, and by all means could have gone down. The market is in a consolidation, as you can see, going back through, what time is this? Midnight. So as of midnight, the market kind of stopped moving and went into a consolidation, this big kind of choppy area. And, my trade was stopped out up here, right? So I had planned on price going down, turned around on me, and then it just formed this head and shoulders top, which you would think is a bearish thing. Now, this is in a low time frame, right? Very low time frame. This is the 1 minute, right? So you have to understand there's a lot of noise on these lower time frames. Your technicals a lot of times are simply just going to be ignored on the lower time frame. Now, this head and shoulders would exist on a higher time frame, but it was a right shoulder. It never actually completed. This right shoulder formed, right? But it never actually made its way down. So those who are risky traders might have been like, hey, it's a right shoulder. And then all of a sudden the data comes out and price starts to head down in a pretty heavy manner, right? Meaning dollar strong. So if that's the case, then a lot of people might say, hey, it's probably going to head and shoulders and I'm going to go short. Well, what happened to those people? They got wrecked. So people got excited. They thought it was going to continue down. A lot of people put their shorts on. And when they did, they had their stop losses up here, right above local resistance, probably right there. And as you can see, price has gone above that. So we're in December, which is a nasty time to trade, unless you really have good algo for that, right? We're in a time when you want to be looking at trading ranges or trading breakouts, or just being really more selective with your trades, right? If you have a good chop algo, a good reversal algo, now's the time for that. But you can see anybody who went short, and a lot of people did, they got their asses handed to them, basically, right? Price even went above this larger kind of structural area established by these double peaks right here. So this sort of a double top, if you will, in a higher time frame. So I wanted to watch what was going on as the data was released. And I was doing that when I was like, oh shit, show's got to start. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff that I do. It's just the kind of things I'll spend my time doing, looking how price behaves around certain events to see if there is some kind of advantage that can be taken. Historically, look, there's one thing that I know some people do, and you got to be really nimble. And you really have to, I would say, go back and study how each individual event transpires to see if there is any kind of pattern that you can develop. But what people will do is called bracketing. Okay, so let me remove these drawings and let me go back in time using the replay function on TradingView. If you look in the top right, you'll see these two arrows. Now that I've moved it to the center, it looks like a rewind button. You click on that, and on the bottom you'll see right now it's already selected for you, this scissor cut. But if it wasn't selected, you can click on this back on the very bottom, this back button, but it's already selected. So we're going to go to like 629 and it'll show up to 628. So 629 is not shown on this yet. And I'm talking about 629 in the morning. The time, this is today, this is just a few minutes ago. And we're going to replay how price behaved, right? So we have some areas above which stop losses were probably put. These are basically liquidity zones, right? And so people had their shorts on. Price went ahead and moved down. People got excited and decided, okay, maybe some people took profit, which is probably what that wick is going up. Your fast hands took profit on that. Here's another thing. There are other people who actually had longs on. And this is what I wanted to show you was the bracketing that happens. Okay, so a lot of people like to bracket. And this is a strategy where people make money. And if you really know what you're doing and if you're nimble, you can do that. So bracketing is such that you have orders on both sides of the trade. Okay, so you have a short and you have a long. Your short probably looks something like this, and your long probably looks something like this. That's going to look confusing on the screen, right? So I may have to kind of revamp this because, this is a little hard to read. But essentially what happens is on a bracket, when I delete these, make this a little easier to understand, you enter a trade a little bit below price and a little bit above price. You have trades ready to go, limit orders, stop limit orders, right? So what it means is that if price were to head into your order, it will enter a short and your stop loss will be above here. And then as price continues down, you got to be ready to take profit. I would probably take profit before these bottoms right here, right? This is a very small trade. You're talking about, let me see, a few pips, right? Now you could be a little more risky, and say take down to this support down here, maybe give yourself a bit more pippage, right? The other end of the bracket is the opposite direction, and I probably would be looking at taking, there's not a lot of room on the upside, so you are looking at a break above. So you would have to look back through some deeper time frames to look at how high you want to go. But let's just say we'll go roughly the same distance as we did on our prior trade and about that high. And as price goes in that direction on the initial move, in this case, it would have been a good short, right? You're looking from an entry at 67, 6567, and that is roughly 9 pips down. And we'll see if it even makes it that far. It made it that far. And it looks like people were looking at what I was looking at, that support. Now, I kind of knew this, right? Because I obviously had seen it happen. But there you go. I mean, there it is right there for you. And then price even pushes back down into that and heads up. So, that's profit taken right there on a bracket. Now, had price moved up, then of course it would have entered that long and there would have been some profit taken that direction. So if you are going to trade the news, a bracket is one way to go about it, but I would definitely start small. I would go back through time using the replay function as I showed you, and I would test that to see how far. And look, you're going to have different kinds of events react differently. This is a weekly event. This unemployment number, it's news that comes out every week. So the amount of movement is going to be probably restricted in comparison to some other, events like CPI and, larger events, right? But the initial pops on these, they're going to have some commonality. And the only way you're going to be able to estimate how these pops go is going to be by going back and testing them. Right. So, all right. So that's what was going on. And that is the event for today. I don't think there's any more news happening. No. Tomorrow there's a lot. And it's early at 6:30 a.m. You do have consumer sentiment happening at 10 a.m. EST, but at 8:30 a.m. EST, which is 6:30 my time, you're going to see a lot more data come out about unemployment and hourly earnings. So there might be some, if you want to play that bracket game, that when these things happen, that's when that goes down. And again, at 10 EST. So I don't know how well the consumer sentiment number is going to push price. And a lot of what's going to happen with price is going to be determinant on the charts itself. So if the charts are in a place where they're ready to go in a direction, you'll oftentimes see price be pushed in that direction. And, this case is a perfect example where price was up against a resistance, right? So you had price kind of heading up. It was really close to a bit of structure, and you notice price pushed away from that structure. It's not always going to happen, but the charts had set up for that possibility based on some of my algos. And of course, again, here's what you see, price pushing away. So, if you're bracketing, you're kind of accounting for both scenarios, because what happens here is if there's not that availability of liquidity down here, then you're going to have a push through liquidity, right? And then that might be wiping out a lot of shorts to push price up. So these are games that the high level people play. And the only thing we can really do is test it and see how that goes and try to develop a plan based on past data. And if you're not doing that, then you're just gambling. And you can see here at, price definitely heading upwards. There was on a higher time frame, I talked about it in Algo Factory this morning. There's on a higher time frame of reversal in play. Which is what actually killed my trade last night. And the only way, when I entered that trade, it was at a touch and go period where it could go either way. The momentum was there, but the possibility for reversal was there. And so I was going to adjust stops aggressively, but it never even, it was a good trade that lost, meaning you have good trades, you got bad trades. A good trade follows your rules. A bad trade doesn't. Good trades win, good trades lose, bad trades win, bad trades lose. It was a good trade that lost. And these things do happen, but we are in the midst of a reversal, and we do have some higher time frame bullishness in play here, which is bearishness for the dollar. Okay, so that's that. That's how this goes. Let me check the private room for any questions or comments. I know March wanted to see a chart. Let's see here. Jam Man in the house. Yeah. I told you, Trev. Trev's was trying to hold on to see what would happen, but that's playing news, man. If you're gonna play games like that, if you're in profit before news, it might be wise to. Well, you raise your stops, so I remember you raised your stops to avoid losing money. That's good. So let's see. I know March had a coin that he wanted to see. See here. Okay, here it is. What is this? Vera coin? VARA. Here's our trade from earlier in the week. I revealed that to our private group. I'm not going to reveal that here, but let's just say it's in profit. Here, quick, you can see what it is. Okay, so the problem with this coin is it's brand new. It's only, a couple months old. So I have no historical data on which to base this. So the problem with trading coins like this is called Vera. It's on Coinbase. It's just a brand new coin. It has had no time to mature as far as its value. It's just a sinking ship until, it got put on Coinbase in September. Everybody who bought it got screwed, and then now it's made a pop-up. Look, you just have a coin that popped up with every other crypto. I don't think there's anything special about it. It is on Coinbase. There may be some fundamental advantages. I would just look at this as an impulse and see where it might retrace to. I might use algos to figure out if it might go up. But these new coins are just, you're just gambling. Unless it really has something behind it. But I'm not a fundamentalist. I really don't give two shits about what a coin has behind it initially. I leave that to other people. So, and if I'm a fundamental type trader, then I'm going to buy and hold like I do with Ripple. You know what I mean? But your move up here, there's two ways to look at this impulse. One is from when it started to the top, and two is the actual hard impulse with the long candles. So we'll initially take a look at the 618 from this point of view, which it seems to have bounced. Doesn't mean it's going to continue up because we've seen similar bounces on the way down. But here's a 618 from that point of view. And then we'll look at this impulse as to when the hard impulse actually began. Let's see here. And your 618 is going to be not very different, apparently. It just so happens, 618 is going to be a little higher. It's already past that, so I'm not too worried about that second fib. Unless you want to, basically the 618 and the 786 are the same. And I do prefer to look at the higher time frame on that. So this first 618 line is what I'll pay attention to more. And then we'll take a look at our, here's our 618 mark, basically right there. I'm going to take a look at the volume nodes. Price is going to be attracted pretty heavily way back down here. But whatever happens to it is going to be greatly dependent on Bitcoin. It does have, it does not have a lot of liquidity below current price for a while. So it's going to have a hard time breaking down past like basically that same 618 that I talked about, which is about 10 cents, 10.2, 10.3 cents. That's going to be an area that's hard for price to break down. Hence this move up just based on volume. So as price speared through this area, it kind of broke this bit of older resistance right there. And therefore it went ahead and took whatever liquidity was there from way back when and moved up. So the question is going to be whether or not it is still bullish. I mean, I'll bet you if I look at the chart's high time frame, it is bullish. Low time frame is questionable. I bet you if I look at the algos, that's what we're going to see. Let me actually redo that. All right, let's take this off. Okay, so let me just take a look at that. Yeah, see, we're on the 3 hour and it's finding support there as well. It is obviously taking a break on a higher time frame, and there's nothing I can see past the daily. You know, I got nothing for you because there's no data. I mean, I could tell you it's slowing down. What the charts could tell you that. The price action can tell you it's slowing down. You don't need algos for that. So, I mean, look, the only thing I have for your friend March is that he's gambling on a brand new coin. And right now it's in the middle of a retracement. I expect for price to be following what Bitcoin does in a way. I expect right now for price to consolidate around the current area, and then whatever happens after that is going to be dependent on Bitcoin. Yeah, that's all you can really say for things like this. It made a move. It's now retracing. It's going to find equilibrium. Now, once that equilibrium is established, it'll be easier to kind of take a look at it and say, okay, you know, price may want to do X or Y or Z. But for now, it's just in the middle of a retracement after a big move. And there is some support you can say from this prior area right around 10 cents. So I think it's just going to float around here until it makes a decision. We're going to see a consolidation. And that's that, you know, it's the way to look at it. All right, yeah, so Trev said stops to entry. Yeah, that's a good deal. Hey, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, like the rerun, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us some comments, let us know what you think. If you have questions, you can actually ask questions in the comment section, even if you're watching the recording. And if there are no questions from our private members, I can get to your questions out there in YouTube land as well. So we are here to help, and we hope that you are enjoying this. We are at the end of the private live lab. So Gorilla, can you give us a send off so that we can go ahead and move on to, I'm sorry, we're at the end of the public live lab, let's say that properly. And if V can give us the send off, we'll go to private. I think the Gorilla has muted himself. Gorilla,
hey, I want to thank you guys for listening in. It is the and the Cowboy. And listen, don't sit there and hesitate. Join us. $1.66 a day. You're going to get the weapons of warfare for you to succeed in 2024. Vital. 2024 is a pivotal year. We are in the last month of 2023. Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't wonder if this is for you, or I'm not good at math and trading looks daunting. Listen. We take care of all the guesswork. We show you how that's done. We show you how to profit. Join us and make a difference in your bottom line. Scan that code. With that being said, Cowboy, let's go on the private.